Hello ladies and gentlemen, and movie lovers of all kind, and welcome back to the channel. As always, I am your host, Brett Murphy, and for today's video, I have a brand new ranking for you all, as I am going to be ranking all 6 of the Jurassic movies. So Jurassic World Dominion is finally releasing this weekend, 4 years after the previous entry, marking the 3rd film in the Jurassic World Trilogy and the 6th film in the Jurassic Saga. And of course, with that, the big question on everyone's mind for this weekend is, does it deliver? Well, we're about to find out. Before I hop into the actual ranking itself, I just wanted to let you all know that I have an entire playlist dedicated to all of my ranking videos, so be sure to check that out, and I guarantee you'll find something you like. And so, without further ado, let's hop right into things. Number 6, Jurassic World Dominion. Look, I'm sorry, I really wanted to love this one, but I feel pretty hard-pressed to say that I even liked it. Though I don't feel it's as bad as everyone has been saying. In all honesty, I feel like the reviews are a bit harsh. That's my opinion anyway, but I definitely do feel it's the weakest of the entire Jurassic Saga. And probably the one that I am least likely to rewatch. I mean, this movie had everything going for it. Colin Trevorrow was back to direct for the first time since Jurassic World. The original big 3 from the first Jurassic Park movie were coming back. A massive budget and runtime, and I'd say a fair bit of hype as it marked the final movie in this new trilogy. But sadly, we ended up with an overlong, bloated, exposition-heavy, and convoluted mess. The only good things were the main cast, consisting of Chris Pratt, Bryce Dallas Howard, and the original 3, plus DeWanda Wise, because I actually thought she was pretty great. And then of course the typical dinosaur stuff was pretty solid, mixed with Michael Giacchino's masterful composing. All in all, I really wanted more from this movie. No, I didn't hate it necessarily, but I am just extremely disappointed that this was the note we had to end things on. Number 5, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. I know this movie gets a ton of hate, but in all honesty, I actually have a fair bit of fun when watching it. Yes, there are some annoying supporting characters, and yes, the villains are super cartoonish, and yes, there are many endlessly stupid character decisions. But I just simply don't see where all of this hate comes from. The first half is pretty intense as they are back on the island and racing against the clock that just so happens to be a volcano, and then the final portion of the movie turns into a horror-themed monster movie set in a massive mansion. It's not great, but it's not as bad as people say either. Number 4, The Lost World Jurassic Park. I don't love the story here, and to be honest, I don't care much for the reasoning that they're back among the dinos either. And truth be told, I find this movie to be a bit boring at times. I was pretty hard on this movie when I did my last ranking of this franchise 4 years ago. But my least favorite, my least likely to rewatch of the Jurassic franchise, without a doubt, is The Lost World Jurassic Park. And I almost found nothing to like about this movie. The story bored me. It took me 3 times to get through it. There's so much corny, cheesy, slapstick shit in this movie. It's really boring. I really didn't enjoy it. I thought I liked it a lot more when I was a kid. Super by the numbers. I really just didn't care for this movie at all, and honestly, I don't know if I'll rewatch it again. And I have lightened up on it over these last 4 years quite a bit. Yes, there is still a ton of cheesy and corny slapstick-styled bullshit, but I do see the fun and lighthearted nature of all that now. Jeff Goldblum is fantastic, and I definitely had my doubts about him as the leading man, but it ends up working really well. Though the final act definitely does feel totally forced, the practical effects are exceptional. Having 2 T-Rexes is of course awesome, and the trailer sequence to this day is still insanely intense and super iconic. Number 3, Jurassic Park III. I know that a lot, if not all of you, are surprised by this one. But look, long story short, I have a ton of nostalgia for this one. Growing up, I only owned the first and third Jurassic Park movies on VHS. And since this one is 30 minutes shorter than the original and has a ton more dino stuff, I typically went with this one more often than not. Does it hold up all that well today? No, not really. But is it still 90 minutes of pure chaotic dinosaur-fueled fun? Yes, absolutely. The Spinosaurus is awesome. There are a ton of memorable sequences, and it saw the return of Sam Neill as Dr. Alan Grant.
Alan.
Number 2, Jurassic World. This is the one that came the closest to recapturing that lightning in a bottle magical feeling that Steven Spielberg delivered to the world way back in 1993. It definitely has a much heavier action-adventure emphasis than any of the other Jurassic movies. And I really do think that works to the movie's advantage. It is a true big-budget popcorn blockbuster flick. The Indominus Rex is undeniably awesome, and I love how they loaded the park with people this time rather than having it be a more private, secluded tour like the original. Because this way we can now see all of the chaos and mayhem unfold. And I actually really liked Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard as our new leads. In the end, I do feel that this movie does a magnificent job at blending callbacks and fan service with fresh, new, and exciting ideas. Number 1, Jurassic Park. Big surprise here, right? I know, who didn't see this one coming? Look, it had to be. There really was no other choice. And no matter how many more of these they decide to pump out over the coming decades, because you know they're coming, nothing is ever going to beat this. It is an absolute classic. There aren't many, if any, other movies out there that have ever been able to capture that magical feeling and sense of wonder and bewilderment that this movie provides. Seeing the dinosaurs for the first time, the T-Rex escape, the velociraptors in the kitchen, all of this is etched into movie history for a reason. It gives us lovable characters, an iconic score from the great John Williams, and one of cinema's most unique and fun-filled adventures. So that is all for today's video, folks. Be sure to let me know down in the comments if you agree or disagree with my ranking. While you're at it, feel free to let me know how you would have ranked all 6 of the Jurassic movies and what ranking you'd like to see me do next. If you enjoyed that video, be sure to hit that thumbs up button. And if you'd like to see more content, consider subscribing to my channel and ringing that little bell icon. That way you can be notified about all of my latest uploads. And as always, stay safe. Thank you so much for watching. And that's a wrap. Hey you, yeah you, if you made it this far, just know I appreciate you, and while you're here, consider hitting that subscribe button.